Hello, hello. Do I see Kathleen and David? I saw Kathleen scooch. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Can't hear you.
Nice glasses,
Yeah.
Kathleen.
I'm unmuted. Am I muted?
Can't
No, I'm
hear
not
you.
muted. I'm unmuted. David, do we
Now-
have a
now
sound? Oh, maybe the sound's down.
No, you're fine. We can hear you. It was on our side. It was all Char.
Yeah, it was me.
Char's fault. That's good.
Yeah, yay. Nice new glasses, huh?
Oh. Whoop, I'm out again.
No, you're fine.
Oh, good.
Like that.
Oh,
Oh, there's David.
there's David's here.
You all ready for the holidays?
Oh,
What holidays?
what holidays? Oh, David.
Okay, I take it you're not. So I guess it's not a. You're gonna work. All.
No, no,
No,
no.
all of life is a holiday.
There you
I'm
go.
retired. I'm just lazy now. Hi, Char.
There's Char. Hi.
So,
Oh, this is amazing with Zoom. We can see the back of Karl's head and your face.
that's kind of scary anyway.
Yeah, it's weird.
No, not weird.
Right, it's kind of weird.
Weird in a charming way, right?
Yeah, in a charming
Can
way.
never get enough of Carl.
And then I got a
From
fire. So my
every-
hair's on fire.
That's right, the
Yeah,
fireplace.
that is
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, is that a video fire?
We have Shaw Cable and channel
Oh.
165 has the fireplace.
Oh,
If you have Shaw or Tallis, they both have fireplaces
Oh,
on.
Telus does as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
oh.
I'm sorry you've only got an untidy bookcase behind us.
Yeah, no fire.
I like to
Oh,
make it
that's
fuzzy.
okay. That's
But
good that it's
Kathy-
untidy. That means you've been reading
Yeah.
No, we just buy the books by the meter and we put them up.
by the meter.
I'll have 3 meters of clever books, please.
There you go.
Do you know? Oh, here's a joke. Okay, did you hear that the Donald Trump Memorial Library burned down? And
No.
wait, and worse, all 3 books were destroyed. But worse still, Donald Trump had not finished coloring one of them.
Coloring. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Political satire.
Oh
joke
wow!
right
Oh,
at
oh.
start
Just
of
have
the
to
year.
find you one.
I
I'm
got
sorry,
reported.
Char. I know that you are a true Republican. I won't say any more. Kathy
Trumpsters.
just hit my knee quite hard to tell me
Publican.
not Republican, not Republican.
Oh yeah. Publican.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like it. That's good. Are you guys in the spirit? You have lots of
Yeah.
snow?
Oh
Yeah,
my
lots
God.
of
Yeah,
snow.
not as much as you, I guess. How many
Yeah.
centimeters you get in Port Alberni?
I don't know. It seemed like a lot. It was like
No.
this much.
Yeah.
It was good. Oh, and there's Derek. I don't know centimeters. I don't know inches. I just know shoveling. It's light and fluffy right now, which is very nice because it's very
Yeah.
cold, like -12 or
Yeah, it's freezing now. It
Yeah.
really is cold.
yeah. So the snow is easy to shovel.
Yeah.
Where last time it was very heavy and wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, I think I'm going to talk to the city, and we're going to get heated sidewalks, so that when it comes down, it melts, and then all the city has to do is plow the roads. Then we won't have to shovel anymore.
Yeah, nice to be able to come in person again.
Oh, okay.
Being the flash.
David's disappeared.
So you're gonna. When's the next hair coloring? After Christmas?
Yeah, after Christmas.
Well, you're ready for Christmas. Your hair's already ready to
No,
cover
yeah.
for the winter, and
No, I've got a son and a grandson who are going back to Vancouver in about 10 minutes.
but you're here for words on. You're gonna be here to read.
Yeah, I'm here, but the son and the grandson are leaving.
Oh, okay.
They're Christmas in Vancouver. So the grandson came out and he trimmed the tree.
Oh, good for him.
So that's really nice. All we've done is trim trees, go out to eat, and shovel snow.
Oh, there you go.
Here, Chris, you and Nico come say hello for a minute. You can be on Electric Mermaid Reads. Nope.
Nope, shy.
Shy.
Maybe if you bribe him with something, maybe he'll come on.
Yeah, Nico. Oh, he's gonna wear a mask.
Oh, that's a.
We're not even in the same bubble.
Well, I don't know. I think those are all out by now. I thought, but maybe not.
No.
Maybe some people maybe still do them. I don't know. I'm out. I'm done with bubbles.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, well, it's. I've had it.
well.
Here comes Jennifer.
Oh, good.
Hello, Jennifer, in cold Ontario.
Yeah.
I
well,
hope it's cold there.
I think it's warmer than here.
Well, yeah.
Evening, folks. Yeah, we're better off here, although things are taking a turn for the real nasty.
Well, there you go.
Well, we're getting rain, freezing rain
Ugh.
Thursday night, evening, and then there's a flash freeze, and then a dump of snow.
No, we're just getting snow, no freezing.
Okay, come say hello then. This is it. This is Electric Mermaid. In person.
Camera.
In person.
Uh-oh.
Hi.
Hello,
Hello. Cheers.
grandson and son.
Yeah.
She brought Santa.
We'll make it someday and see that lovely mermaid and all of you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be like grandma when you get older and learn and read on Electric Mermaid.
Yeah. Yeah. We did
Would
stop
you like
by.
to read?
We came by Char's. We were camping by Ucluelet. We came by in July.
Grandson and son.
But there was some renovation going on, painting or something. So we didn't quite have the good luck of finding you, Char, but we tried.
I didn't get to hear who this is. I'm Char.
Oh, this is my son, Chris.
Hi.
And this
Hi.
is my grandson, Nico.
Hello, Chris and Nico. I'm Char.
Hi.
Welcome to Char's Landing.
Excellent. Great.
Merry
pleasure.
Christmas.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, they were here for a few days and now they're going back to Vancouver to have Christmas in Vancouver.
Oh, good. Oh, how nice.
Yeah, I was glad.
Poirier.
I was glad with all the snow they made it out here.
She'll read today.
It wasn't so easy to get here.
There you go. Christmas in the big city,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the busy city.
Oh,
Yes,
the
yes.
Electric Mermaid is looking gorgeous.
I don't know.
Oh, isn't it
Find out.
beautiful? It's even more beautiful in person.
I believe it.
You have to come to Port Alberni.
I'm gonna pack up our stuff.
All right, you guys got to pack up.
Snow pants or dry?
Yeah.
Okay, because you know what the story is. It's 5:46. You got to be down for that.
Thank you, David. I'm
Hello, Karen. Are you going to read today or are you just listening, Karen?
So that's the Electric Mermaid. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like inside. Well, you saw the one in September. When we-
Yeah.
Yes. So
Are you going to read today,
they're in
Karen?
person.
No? No, she never. I've asked her. She just. looks at me. Hello, Karen.
So,
Are you going to read tonight?
sure.
All right. Video.
Oh, there's Derek.
There's Derek. Derek can talk.
Eric.
Test.
Derek, he's the Emcee, the, what do you call it? Whatever he is.
MC.
Moving over there.
What happened?
There's Karen, and I see Kathy. David, you're looking young tonight.
Yeah.
I want to know your secret. Been drinking from the fountain of youth.
I was just thinking. That sounds like something that would be in David's story.
Yeah, it does. You sound like someone from David's stories.
I better turn this phone off.
Now, you all packed up? Because,
We're leaving soon?
yeah, you're leaving in 5 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
No one ever told me.
Well, it's true. 5 minutes and you're out of here.
Oh.
Because you got to get the
I'll be right
bus.
back.
Oh. Okay.
Incredibly complex set of circumstances. So right now, I think it's fair to say Ukraine has Ukraine is winning its war thanks to the enormous support we and others have provided, and we need to keep the pressure on.
Conversation with someone you've gotten to know well since temporarily looked at the United States and he and family talked to her throughout the war. She was sheltered in the face and she thought of the president's visit and he yes.
Just a reminder that the 5-minute mark is out. So if you have your pieces a little bit longer than 5 minutes, that's all right.
Did you see our YouTube video got record viewings this time? Over 60.
Oh, wow.
I know.
I know. I go every morning at 5 o'clock and play it 10 times over.
I knew it. I knew it. Trust you.
and I pay people to do the same. Oh, gee, that doesn't sound good. I apologize if that did not sound like a funny joke. Mute.
It just went whoosh right over my head.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, hello, all you beautiful people out there. Hello, hello.
Can
Hello, hello, in vacuum land. Here we are. Hello, hello. Yep. Hello, hello. Calling all cars. This is Alberni 1 calling Tofino 2. Do you read me? Hello.
Yeah, he's not.
Can
Oh,
everybody
there we
hear?
go.
Can
There we
everybody
go.
hear us? Can everybody hear Dean?
David, was that
Derek,
sounding
and
loud
me?
enough out there when Dean was talking at the? You're muted.
You're
Just
muted.
thumbs up is good. Thumbs up. Okay. Yep.
Good.
It's all good. David says it's all right, Char.
coming and going, I go through this every time.
Oh, no.
Ready for a holiday. It might say I'm on a holiday. It's gone on a holiday.
Okay, that sounds like it's coming through loud and clear now, Char. How's that, everybody? David, give me a thumbs. Yep, thumbs up from David out there in Zoom land. Vicki, you can hear me okay?
Hello, hello, hello.
All good.
Oh, so I
Yep,
guess I should
that's
make-
great, Char. Thank you.
And I'm out.
Good evening, Jennifer.
How do?
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Very
Oh.
good, very good. Excited for tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, you brought your small collection, right? Nice. Awesome.
I don't think she has a small collection. She probably has a big collection.
The big one will be in the new year. This is still the small one tonight.
Yeah. Well, this is a new thing, but it's one big piece that I couldn't do except on a night like tonight.
Excellent.
There you go.
All
See,
right.
that's what we need.
The book is almost ready, Derek.
Is
It
it?
should be up on. It's supposed to ship / go up on Amazon any day, so I understand.
Woohoo!
Awesome. I'll look for your post on Facebook to know when it's out. Yeah.
Will do. So January should still be okay.
Okay, perfect. Because I have you down.
Excellent.
Where to put the teapot?
Not much room here. Even though it's a big table. our computers take a lot of room up.
Yeah.
And microphones. Do. Yeah, freezing rain. I that's not good. I don't mind snow, but freezing rain. No, thank you.
No, I don't have to go anywhere, but my brother and his wife and a crew of people are supposed to come down about an hour and a half's drive to London on Friday. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, if I got good tires and stuff, then it's okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to. I think it's supposed to snow here tomorrow, and then I don't know what Friday's like.
I'm good. Thank you.
I hope it's. I don't actually. Oh, tomorrow's cloudy. No snow tomorrow, but 90% Friday. But that's okay. I'll be. We have a good car. I'm leaving Friday to go down to the States. So
My cousin in Vancouver says that they've got a pile of snow and then the temperature's shooting up. And so all of Vancouver, he says, is going to turn into a giant Slurpee.
Yeah.
well, it's been so bad over there. Even flights, people are not getting home like they should be getting home. All the flights are backed up. So
I heard that.
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm not flying. We're just going to drive down to the States. So it's a good thing we can drive.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to shut things down in Vancouver.
No.
The one snowplow gets stuck and everybody's in trouble.
Yeah, us Ontarians look on, places, well, say in the south of the United States where they get an inch of snow and the place is shut down, and
Pandemonium.
Yeah, no, that happens.
we laugh.
Yeah, people from the prairies are like, "What? Shut down?" Like, it's like when I first moved out here, we had the snow day. I'm like, "What's a snow day?" In Saskatchewan, you went to school no matter what. There was not a snow day. Like it's like it was unheard of.
I remember a few snow days in London, Ontario, though, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When those the ice storms hit, or the really good blizzards that came in off the Great Lakes, where they were just howling wind and blowing.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't see 20 feet in front of you.
Those are really something. I don't get snow days at work anymore because I work from home all the time.
Yeah,
So
that's the downside.
yeah.
Then you have to break the
Well,
power out.
you went out somewhere and you had it. Then you could have a snow day because you couldn't make it back to your house. There you go.
Well, that's a thought.
So, Karen is number 10.
10. Yes. Are
Right?
hey, I'm not admitting you.
Totally, yeah, yeah. I'll ask you about your Christmas list, you know. What are you hoping for?
Trying to get in.
I'll ask you,
Yeah.
I'll ask you about your Christmas list and what you're hoping for.
No, he,
You know?
he had come up here and was saying it,
But-
and I just exited. I didn't ask him.
Oh,
Comes in, I can't ask him when he's in chat in the waiting room.
lovely.
But when he's in the waiting
Good.
All right. Well, I'm old enough. I can remember the 50s if we're talking late 50s, but
Wasn't
barely.
it just yesterday? No, just kidding.
Yeah.
He was.
Awesome. Santa came with you. That's perfect. Perfect. And you got your Christmas sweater on, your red sweater. It's, yeah. We're ready.
Okay. Wait a minute. Then one.
Okay. All right. You got to keep some of it in reserve. Yeah.
Yes.
What? All right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is somebody waiting to get admitted?
We don't know who.
Oh,
Yeah.
Could be my wife's cousin from Montreal, Sahara.
It's Woodsy Randy. It comes up as an email. So. Woods. Do you know about it? If it was on there by the name?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
No.
No. No. We'll just. Unless that's. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's Peter.
Mhm.
Yeah. When he turned his camera on, I knew I thought that was Peter. I thought that was Peter. Yeah. I was gonna. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Peter. Can you hear me, Peter? I see. Yeah, I can see him.
Yeah, he's on the.
No, he's well. Now it's
He's
hello,
muted.
Peter. How are you doing?
Can you unmute there, Peter?
Can't hear you, Peter.
Oh,
There we
there
are.
we go. How's that? Is that
Good.
better?
We got you now.
Yeah, we
Oh.
didn't know who you were at first. Because you come
I'm
on
first?
No, yeah, well, because it doesn't come. It just comes as Wood Randy. So we're like, who the heck's Wood's Randy? So,
Oh.
but yeah, if you come in and you're under your name, then we'll know who it is.
It's all right.
Well, I don't know why it says that. Okay.
Hopefully you haven't been hacked.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay. Alleged Mermaid Emcee Derek Hanebury is a Port Alberni writer of poetry, fiction, and creative nonfiction who taught writing here at North Island College for many years. His latest book, Both Sides Now, is a collaboration of short fiction with two of his past students. His upcoming solo collection, entitled Something Else Altogether, is already out.
Thank you, Karl, and good evening, everybody. Here's the last Electric Mermaid of 2022. It's hard to believe that, yeah, fan me. Where did that year go? That was very, very fast. And anyway, glad to see lots of people out in Zoom land, and we're a sparse crowd in Char's Landing again, I'm afraid. Too darn cloud, but we're here. Too darn cold out there. That's the problem.
Even though there's that many.
But it's nice and warm in here. And we've got hot tea and rum and eggnog and beer going and all kinds of good things. So we're zooming out to you from Char's Landing here in beautiful downtown Port Alberni and the unceded territory of the Hupetcheseth and Sishat First Nations. We're grateful to their ancestors and to them for sharing their territory with us. And we're happy to be here to listen to the members' night where we loosen things up a little bit and people can go beyond your 5-minute limit and not have to worry about it. A couple of shout outs before we get started. The first one always goes to Char, the hostess with the mostess. Thank you, Char. She's blushing. She's blushing. Right. And also the Karl, our moderator, of course, and to everyone who's joined us tonight here, and whether in Zoom land or in person, it's great to have you here. And looking forward to some lively reads tonight. Some seasonal. I've heard Santa Claus might even pay us a visit at one point, but we'll see if the rumors get confirmed a little bit later. So we're going to start off here. Oh, Victoria's here. We have another open micer has just arrived with a very excited dog. Claws clacking on the floor. We'll give her a moment to get settled. And while she's coming in, we'll get Shawna, our first reader, to come on up to the mic here. Shawna has braved the roads in from Sprout Lake to bless us with her spoken word tonight. And we're excited to hear what she's going to share. All right. She's pouring a tall glass of water, so it's going to be a long one. Settle in. The wine will be for after. Yeah. Just test that mic out there.
Okay, testing.
That's sounding okay here.
Sounded good height.
Yeah, Peter, does that sound good out there for you?
It sounds perfect to me. I can hear every nuance. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Take it away, Shawna.
Okay, so this first one I wrote about a year ago, and it was inspired really through my challenges in life, which, as someone who's very sensitive and feels everything very deeply, when you repress that and repress your nature, you can often struggle with anxiety, even struggle with anger, self-doubt. But I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. And so that is what this poem speaks to. And so it's really in recognition of the 6 billion people here on the earth, which apparently is more than 6 billion. But I kept the original name, which is 6 billion stars. And then after this, I have a short little Christmas poem that I wrote just for tonight. To know ourselves, we have to not know ourselves. So let's not let the world convince us that we need to be someone else. To run from our fear and run from our shame, to pop a pill or pour a drink to escape from our pain. We're all perfect, just as we are. Anxiety and anger are also a ray of the star, needed in the experience of life that shows us who we are. To light the way, we are the way, whether we scream or whether we pray, whether we spew hatred or whether we say, I love you each day. Each step along the path leads to our remembrance, the descendants, the children of light. Even if we rage, scream, and curse the light, we can never push away who we are, even if we choose to fight. The fight that is always with our own selves. The tug of war happens when we fail to see ourselves. The worldly war in the life of someone else. All of it a mirror to the amnesia. As we left the land of knowing to the world of not seeing, focusing on the doing and no longer being. The forgetting, our beautiful regretting. The art of allowing is the art of letting, the bleeding and the shedding, the hurting and the getting, sparking a remembrance of another way. The only way we ought to pray are with the words, I am the way. For there must be another way when only darkness leads the way. All needed, all valuable, but only to serve as a backdrop, our sadness and our teardrops, a landscape to reveal the sun, when we forget who we are and come completely undone, when we forget we are the stars and his only forgotten son, when we forget we are the stars and his only begotten son, not just one. A billion atoms do not come close to revealing the stars and the sun. Try 6 billion, and not one will be forgotten. Standing as a shadow is only one step away from all that we yearn for silently or out loud as we pray. Take one step left or one step right, out of the comfort zone and into the light. And from there, the contrast will be seen. Every attribute that has ever been, spark to awaken the heart, to move out of the mind and into the unseen, where we will remember our magnificence and gleam, brilliant and bright, as the knot comes undone, so the hold is not so tight. Let go, and embrace the light, so we can take flight like a butterfly into the night. The darkness of the cocoon, the light shining from the moon, the sun waiting to rise, another day, a delight and surprise. Amidst the conditioning and the lies, a third eye, look there, put your stare there, and exclaim, reveal thyself. And the curtain will draw back. The veil will twinkle and clear. And there we will disengage from our 5 senses, and all will become clear. Remembering, remembrance, that is the purpose. Remembering, remembrance, each day is a purpose. To know who we are not, so we can know who we are. To be who we are not, so we can remember we are a star. A star, 6 billion stars. Thank you. So just a note about that, I can recite that like in my sleep practically if I'm by myself. And well, like I give credit to people who everything is done by memory because it takes me out of the flow and I get into my head. So I guess that's what I want to work on in 2023, where I can just do it like nobody's here. So it's a little harder than it looks, but. All right, so the next one is a little rhyme. Last time it was mentioned to maybe bring something Christmassy tonight. So I wrote this poem following the last open mic, which is my first open mic, and it's called Christmas Star. But first I want to start off with a couple of lines that go a little something like this. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. The star on top of the Christmas tree is a reminder of the star within you and me, the one that shines no matter what, when the heart needs a little cheering up. Look to the sky, then look to the tree, then look to one another, the stars, you and me, blessing you at Christmas and all through the year. All we need to do is open to the blessings and the cheer. Here we will find the gift that Christmas brings, a message of love throughout the songs that we sing. So whether sharing this day with family or alone with yourself, may Christmas bring you peace, happiness, and health. And may it be a reminder to us all that we twinkle no matter what. So put on something sparkly and get all shined up. Enjoy some hot chocolate or apple cider by the tree, remembering this little poem about the star in you and me. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shawna, for starting us off on the Christmas note, bringing in the spirit of the season.
I wasn't sure if I'd sing those two lines. What the heck?
Yeah, beautiful. Lovely. Lovely. You got a great voice. So thank you. We're so glad you joined us this year, and we look forward to you coming back in 2023 with some more of your strong and uplifting work. That's what I love about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. And Peter Paul Van Camp is joining us again from Denman Island. So nice to have you back. And,
It's wonderful, wonderful, Derek, to be here. And good evening, everyone. And I wish you a good solstice. Here's another Hanukkah upon us and another Christmas. And I've begun to realize that I'm not getting any younger. And one of these days, the roll is going to be called up yonder for me. But when it is, I'd like to live in the hope that there's an open mic or an open stage up there waiting for me. And so here's a piece that I wrote a number of years ago in anticipation of all that. It's based on the old Harry McClintock song, The Big Rock Candy Mountain. It takes that form, you see. And so here, without further preamble, and I'd like to dedicate this to my recently deceased, very good friend, Campbell Hendry in Montreal. He heard me do this once, and he approved. So this is for Campbell. A poet once went strolling out to read some folks some verses. He got struck by the big rock candy truck, and it was too late for the nurses. He followed the crowd to a certain cloud where henceforth he'll be living. Come and hear him speak most nights a week on the open stage of heaven. On the open stage of heaven, the patrons never yap. No, your line of gab makes them hold their blab, even them way at the back. And the microphone is just your height, and the microphone is turned on. And your best work's always new, and the lighting is such that you can't see much except the handwrite that is knocking them flat on the open stage of heaven. That's the ticket on the open stage of heaven. They never pan your stuff. No, the ink stain goes from the pearly gate post. He never cuts up rough, nice fella. And your tea does not go dry here. No, I'm sorry. And your tongue, no. And your tea stays, gosh, what's happening? The cash register keeps quiet, and the steam milk frother too. And your tea stays hot, but not too strong. It's a bottomless pot, and you can't go wrong on the open stage of heaven. Can't wait on the open stage of heaven. Now they waive the cover charge, and the 2-bit save lets you behave like a nabob living large. And your tongue does not go dry here, and your butterflies go free, and nobody walks out at the peak of your set. If it's ever going to happen, well, it ain't happened yet on the open stage of heaven. One more now. On the open stage of heaven, nobody ever swears. For if the all-knowing hears of it, they'll just get kicked downstairs. And the readers who sign up here, their names you've heard around. let's see. Baudelaire, Voltaire, Longfellow and Yeats, St. Vincent Millay, Walter de la Mare, Shelley and Keats, and the late great Beats, and Dante and Poe, which goes to show that you just can't know. I'd say hello, but do I dare? And Emily Dickinson's twirling her hair, and look at old Goethe, devil may care. But Walt Whitman, he wears a frosty glare, 'cause Chaucer won't share the easy chair. And then Gertrude Stein says, fair is fair is fair is fair. And I declare, Billy Shakespeare's there, unless they all got a real gig elsewhere. Then the open stage of heaven, look out. Now, eternity is infinite, so you get to stay on for at least 6 minutes. On the open stage of heaven, heaven. Maybe by the time I get there, I'll have that second verse memorized a little better. Now, I have just one more little piece, if I could. This was written, I'm going to say at least 150 years ago, by a gentleman named John Hay, who was at one time in his life personal secretary to Abraham Lincoln, and he went on to other cabinet posts in other governments. But this is one, he had a literary career later on, and this is one I think that touches on the magic of the Christmas season, if you will. It's called Little Breeches, and if I don't take a sip of this delicious water right now, I'll regret it later. All right. Little Breeches. I don't go much on religion. I never ain't had no show. But I've got a middling tight grip, sir, on the handful of things that I know. I don't pan out much on the prophets, nor the palaver preachers will pander. But I believe in the Lord and the angels ever since that one evening last winter. See, I come to town with some turnips, and my little Gabe, he come along. Well, no 4-year-old in the county could beat him for strapping and strong, pert and chipper and sassy, always ready to swear and fight. And I'd learned him to chaw tobacco, just to keep his milk teeth white. Well, the snow come down like a blanket as I passed by Schembecker's store. I went in for a jug of molasses, and I left the team at the door. Well, they scared at something and started. I heard one little squall, then lickety-split over the prairie went team, little breeches and all. Lickety-split over the prairie. Oh, I was almost froze with scare, but we rousted up some torches and searched for them far and near. At last, we struck horses and a wagon, snowed under a soft white mound, upset and dead beat, but of little Gabe, no hide nor hair was found. And here all hope soured on me of my fellow critters' aid. I just flopped down in my marrow bones, crotch deep in the snow, and prayed. Well, by this the torches was all played out, and me and Israel Parr went off for some wood to a sheepfold that he said was somewhere there. We found it at last in a little shed where they shut up the lambs at night. We looked in and seen 'em huddled there, so warm and sleepy and white. And, well, there sat Little Breeches and chirped as pert as ever you see, I want a char tobacco, and that's what's the matter of me. How did he get there? Angels. He could never have walked in that storm. They must just have scooped down and toted him to where it was safe and warm. And I think that saving a little child and bringing him to his own is a darn sight better business than loafing round the throne. Yes, sir, a darn sight better business than a loafing round that throne. Thank you. That's by John Hay. And with that, I'll wish you a Merry Christmas and a bright and happy 20 and 23.
Thank you so much, Peter. That was amazing. That's amazing. And my hat's off to you, man, that you're able to memorize that. And you must practice a lot. I don't.
Not enough. Not quite enough.
Anyway, that was both of them were really, really awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best of the season to you too. So, all right, we're going to step over to some pros now. I think here live at Char's Landing, we've got Dean Lamont is going to bring us another installation of the Ned stories. And he's only a third of a way through his first beer, so he'll be good. It's all right.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Thanks, Derek. This is called A Plea for the Birds. Ned sat at his kitchen table looking out at the snow-filled front yard and the skeleton trees. Hanging from one branch of the big maple beside the road was a bird feeder alive with juncos and a few bigger birds. More juncos and the odd towhee or stellar jay hopped around on the white ground below the feeder. The towhees hopped toward the juncos to scare them away.
A little closer to the mic, Dean. Yeah.
The jays intimidated the towhees, and the flickers fanned the feeder clear of other birds, then hammered away at the plastic to dislodge a sunflower seed or two. Ned, all cozy in his kitchen with a hot cup of tea, loved his little entertainment center. How cute the little birds were, hopping around in the snow. But looking cute was likely the last thing that on the towhee's mind. -14, the Weather Network said. Feels more like -19. Well, Ned thought, birds don't have heat pumps or wood stoves, no house even, no sweaters, hats, gloves. All they have is a bit of insulation from their down and feathers, and a little heart pumping blood through their veins. Yesterday, Ned had loaded up his pack sack with a bag of bird seed and hiked down to the dike. Here and there, he scraped the snow off benches and poured little lines of seed. He often spread under trees also where birds would forage. But no bleeding heart was Ned. No, most of the year it was you snooze, you lose time for the birds. They were trouble enough sometimes, eating seed planted in his gardens or yanking up sprouts. Seeing a bird in spring with one of his precious scarlet runner beans dangling from his beak made Ned wish he had a BB gun, if not a shotgun. Curious about juncos, Ned consulted Big Brother in the other room, his computer. Dark-eyed junkies he saw almost blanketed the continent. Over 600 million of them spread out over North America like dark syrup on a pancake. Wow, Ned thought. And most people don't even realize that birds are descendants of dinosaurs. The dinosaurs went extinct, almost, but small can be beautiful sometimes, especially if you can fly. So when the big one hit, the big asteroid that plunged into the Gulf of Mexico, a few winged dinos survived, as well as a few mammals who were starting to get traction 65 million years ago. Another thing that fascinated Ned was the ritual combat the juncos and other birds engaged in. They hopped at each other aggressively and even duked it out in midair. But never had he seen a bird injured in the fray, or a bird dead, lying helpless. A biologist might wonder if there was any evolutionary advantage in birds killing each other. Even back in biology class at SFU, Ned had had trouble understanding how any non-human animal could contemplate survival strategies or evolutionary advantages. Buddy, the black and white cat, who lived in Ned's duplex, sat on his perch looking out at the busy little birds out in the feeder. Luckily, Buddy preferred hanging out in the nice warm house to chasing birds when it was cold and snowy. Most of the year, Buddy was a walking evolutionary disadvantage as far as the birds were concerned. And would be a major factor in the decline of city songbirds. Ned had learned from an article in National Geographic about the decline of songbirds in London, England. Little Fluffy, oh, the adorable little cat, takes on a totally different persona out in the yard, a calculating, clever killer and torturer of other wildlife. Ned had made a bit of a bargain with the devil when he decided to let His Majesty stay next door. Mice and rats could be a problem when you lived in a semi-rural setting. And there were cute little bunnies living in the hedge out near the front yard that ate his garden produce. As for the birds, Ned had become a benevolent despot. He screened or shade-clothed his seedlings rather than trap or kill the birds. He avoided herbicides and pesticides, trying to go organic whenever possible. Rather than treating the symptoms, he tried to stop the disease, e.g. building 8-foot-high fences around his garden to keep the deer at bay. Birds were another weapon in the benevolent dictator's arsenal. By helping a few juncos and towies out in leaner times now, in the spring, Ned knew that had learned from Big Brother that insects were the main food juncos fed to their young. And the little birds hopping around in the shrubbery would eat weed seeds. Yes, they were Ned's vast, sorry, I'm having trouble reading my, vast non-unionized workforce. He positively drooled when he saw an army of starlings marching across his lawn, eating leather jackets. Birds, he had come to realize long ago, were like friends. They're all irritating once in a while, but life would be unthinkable without them. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dean. And I have a feeling that is you that's down at the dike putting the seed out for the birds, isn't it? I've noticed that down there. That's awesome. That's great. All right, we've got another in-house reader for us now, who's brought along some props with her this evening. So let's have a big round of applause for Monica Ahloos. Monica. First, when she came in with this big box, I thought, oh, she's brought donuts for us all, but it's even better than that, apparently. But I'm not going to give it away. We'll let her unwrap it as it comes out of the box.
I want to take you the 1950s to Finland. And it's Christmas Eve. And 1950s was a wonderful time in Europe because it was over 10 years after World War II had ended. And people were so busy and happy, and what was so important was being together, having a meal together, and dance and sing. And that was all that counted. And buildings and fabrics and art, everything was just blossoming in the 50s. And this is, I'm 5 years old. I remember this so clearly. And Santa Claus is going to come and visit after dinner. Now, if you think about the Santa Claus you have seen on the streets that you say, hello, Santa, they have red outfits. Well, this is, as I mentioned, after World War II, and mom and dad and aunts and uncles, they put together what they could for having a Santa for me. So you will see that my Santa wasn't red. And it was a wonderful time because my grandparents were there and I was the firstborn from both sides, and aunts and uncles were there, and I had a cousin. And after the meal, we had a smorgasbord. And we had to learn how to eat in a formal way because my grandfather was in the restaurant business where our president was coming. And grandfather was instilling that we had to know how to behave in special occasions. And we have had our meal and we are sitting in the living room. And it's getting late for a 5-year-old, around 10 o'clock. And all of a sudden, there is my heart is pumping. Oh my goodness. Well, Dad, Uncle, somebody go and open the door. I'm frozen. I cannot go because the knock is like bang, bang, bang at the end. And the more it bangs, the more frozen I get. So my family's taking me to the door and say, you open the door now. This is, I'm sure, Santa. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Oh, Santa. Oh, I can't see very well. Have I come to the right place? Well, I got card from elves saying that you're coming. So you should be in the right home. Well, I have to take the telephone catalog and see, have I really come to the right house? Here is Matt, Mary. Please, let it be Monica there. Oh, Monica, that's it. That's me. No. Would Santa like to sit down? Oh, absolutely. My legs are hurting me. I have been driving all the way from Korvatunturi, which is the North Pole in Finland. Okay. Let's sit down and I will give you some warm glögg to drink. Sounds good. Thank you very, very much. Well, when Santa is sitting and drinking your glögg, what would you like me to perform for you during the time you're having your warm drink? Oh, Anything is fine, thank you. Anything. All right. How about this very famous, world famous song? It's written 1818 by a pastor by the name Joseph Moore. He was pastor for St. Nicholas Church in Oberndorf in Austria. And the organist was Gruber, France. And he went to France, and France said, could you please, I've written this poem, could you please be so kind and put melody into this poem? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great. So also this song was sang, my dad was telling me, at World War II, when my dad was up in Lapland, in the northern part of Finland, when one country was on one side, the other country was on the other side. It was Christmas Eve, and no shooting was happening. It was very quiet. And this is the same song that started to sing all of a sudden from one side of the front. And it goes like this, and I'm singing it in Swedish. Stilla natt, heliga natt, allt är frid, stor och blid, Betlehem stjärnan fästet stå, kärlek vakar och andakt rår. Födde frälsaren Krist, födde frälsare Christ. You're the other side, and let you sing in English. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round young virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was so lovely. Christmas songs are my favorite. Do you have another one? Another one? Yeah, my leg isn't finished yet. Or maybe we can open a present. Okay, let's open a present. One present. Sounds good. But I can't read. I am over 100 years old and I cannot read. I can't see what it says on this box. I can help, Santa. I can. It says, Merry Christmas, Monica. In the forest runs the troll, also in the hole, and in a hole. Guess what you got? A door! Very good. Now we have to see what is in the box. I opened the ribbons and the box, and there is my wish came true, a doll that blinks, which is eyes open and close. Oh, Santa, thank you so much. Thank you, Santa. All right. One more song, maybe. And could you suggest something, Monica? Okay, it's this is my Uncle Sigge, and when we sit around a table, Christmas table, and these are elves sitting with their drink in their hand. And the elves are tomtar in Swedish. So it goes, hej tomtegubbe, slå I glaset och låt oss lustiga vara. Hej tomtegubbe, slå I glaset och låt oss lustiga vara. En liten tid vi lever här med mycket möda och stort besvär. Hej tomtegubbe, slå I glaset och låt oss lustiga vara. And then round the Christmas tree. Nu har vi jul här vid hus, julen vi kommer ha frallalej. Barnen I ring, dansa omkring. Mamma, pappa, alla går I dansen. Mamma, pappa, alla går I dansen. Tralala, tralalala, tralalala. And a Finnish one, and joulupukki is Santa Claus in Finnish, and it goes like this. Joulupukki, joulupukki, valkopartaa vannaukki, eikä taakkaa paina selkää, käypä tänne emme pelkää. Oota meille vanha tuttu, puhkalakki, karvanuttu, täällä on myöskin kiltit lapset, kirkat silmät, silkohapset. My goodness, all right. Well, I have also Christmas presents for all my family out there. I have a bag of candy canes, and everybody's welcome to take candy canes before you go home. And maybe we'll do one more song, and that is the White Christmas, which is always so popular. And please sing along. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'll dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Thank you so very much. Santa has to go to thousands of different homes the whole evening and morning. So I have to go, but I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we see each other next year. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, Monica. That was awesome. All right, here come the candy canes. All right. Fabulous. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, I know that was a Finnish Christmas you were talking about, but it resonated with me too. I don't know that magic that when you were that age, it was maybe only one gift, but it didn't matter. That was just yeah, incredible. Thank you. All right, Jennifer, we're gonna shift our focus to the Zoom land here and head on down to London, Ontario. And Jennifer's got a suite of poems she's gonna share with us.
Evening.
Evening.
Greetings from London. I have it's one poem in a bunch of sections. Oh, I should mention the book is coming. It's almost up on Amazon, so I understand. I'll post about it when it is, but that was the latest word, is it's about ready. This piece is not in it because this is relatively new. It's special to be able to do something like this, and it's only in a night like this I could do it because of the length. And I can't really do separate sections because it's all one thing, as you'll hear. It's for reasons that will become obvious, it's a fairly personal piece. One little note, you'll hear the word beetle. Now, that's not the bug. When you hear that, it's B-A-E-T-Y-L, which has a completely different meaning altogether, which should be clear in the context of the piece. There are 13 sections. There's an epigraph and a postscript, and 13 sections. The first and last section are kind of frames, and then the middle 11 are kind of a flashback, but hopefully that makes sense. It's episodic, deliberately, as opposed to one long continuous narrative, but it all hangs together, I think. And as far as content, well, I'll let it introduce itself. Suffice it to say that you're going back to it, nothing to do with Christmas much. You're going back to the 3rd century in ancient Rome. And the epigraph, the highly controversial Roman leader known to us as Elagabalus, was born about 203 CE in Emcee, Syria, and became ruler of the empire in 218 CE at age 14. The piece is called Empress. That was the epigraph. And the first section is called Denarius. Call me Empress. That feels right. Not Emperor as all designate me. Some years ago, the throne became mine. Proof is in my hand. A little silver denarius, day's wage for a foot soldier, sporting my profile, youthful, pretty, laurel wreath, of course, alas for a tiara, and my eyes, soft, ample, looking for answers, no, searching first for questions. Silk. Sublime Emcee, far east of the Imperium, clothed in smooth Syrian silk, not rough Roman wool. A century and a half after glorious Trajan, the cradle for my inception into a noble family who called me their son and grandson, various. Emcee, home of refinement and sensuality, receptive to feminine spirit and power, I honor you. Dance. Through a distant mirror, I recall a beautiful child, journey back and feel gentle robes confer a modicum of peace, but a voice still called, a veiled ghost still haunted. So I danced and let it sweep me away, lost in the shimmer and whirl, skip and leap into a priceless moment, melding with swish and sway, hidden from nameless longings that wait to push and pull. Chosen. Family helms one's fate, or tries to, some say. Grandmother, sister-in-law, and aunt to emperors, ever ready to grab the tiller and steer us into a storm. Father, too busy and distant, dead for good when I was 12. Mama, always nearby, bestowing the hereditary high priesthood of Elagabal, Emmee's deity and gift to the world, the Son Supreme, his great bequest, a simple-looking black conical stone, but our holy beetle, offering communion through splinters of Elagabal's glory clasped in its bosom and demanding rites ecstatic and exotic. To channel this truth, shine this light. Above all others, I am chosen, destined from birth. Purple. The sovereign moment comes, driven by grandmother's relentless plotting in quest of the crowning purple, putting it about royal cousin Caracalla, a year murdered and 2 emperors ago, had an illegitimate son, namely me. Another role I embrace. First, charm the legions, for everyone and everything tells me I am destined and ready to be emperor myself, to stand, young as I am, manly and proud astride the civilized world. All save the soft spectral voice I will banish. We ride then, fly forth to battle at Antioch. Gannus, my tutor, our newly anointed, yet suddenly brilliant general. But at the crisis, Mama and Grandmother take the field, rally the troops, and I charge at the head, sword held high, cleaving bodies and flashing at ghostly whispers, until the setting sun bled out and engulfed me in purple. Unfettered. I am now styled Marcus Aurelius Antoninus. Antoninus for short, that's on my coins too. Duplicating cousin Caracalla's regal label. Another mask. But everyone bows down to it, to me. Has the world gone mad or suddenly right side up? Unfettered, blinding opportunity blazes forth. Rome and its overpowering maledness needs shaking up. I will keep my barbaric silk and flowing robes, host parties unlike any other, bring Elagabal's exotic rites to a new home, and why not women in the Senate, starting with grandmother and Mama? Solstice. Mama is right, a sacred mission calls, unify all deities under Elagabal's glorious light, now also known as Sol Invictus, undefeated sun. The Elagabalium, right on Palatine Hill, is ready for our sacred beetle. Summer solstice will be the wondrous moment, the great festival, the beetle borne by a golden jewel-encrusted chariot drawn by 6 horses, huge and pure white, guided by Elagabal's own unseen hand. I myself will lead the way, always facing the divine glory, back to the road ahead. All senators will watch in awe as I dance round the altar. I will declare universal joy, leavened with free food for the people. Mystery. They haunt me day and night, flesh and blood avatars of Venusian sanctity, replete with boundless soft curves, skins smooth as Emerson silk, melodious voices, and the intoxicating cleft of glorious subtle beauties. I surround myself with them, but long to possess all of it, long to be so desired and celebrated, to be at the center of such a wonderful mystery. Divinity. 1,000 curses on sensibilities and proper decorum I will perform on the stage, just a sideways step from what I do every day. But this time I shall be the goddess of love herself, the immortal feminine shining through me, but more, let divinity use my body, divorce the wife I took to please them, marry a forbidden Vestal virgin, damn the consequences, Rome needs remolding, have deified children, continue Elagabal's holy mission of unification. Search. No one understands. More wives in succession, yes, but still I search, hunting for the image to embrace that will make me whole, the spirit to clasp that will bring me peace, and cannot find it. Back to my Vestal Virgin. No one understands. Grandmother grasps for control, longs to pull the strings, but I've severed them. I rule, not her. And she of all people should understand the murders. That's how the imperial game is played. Threats, even named Gannis, removed. Throne safe. Torment. In ages hence, contemplating my profile, will you see it? My ghostly childhood voice in full cry dances now unavailing, the torment unceasing, unnameable, unbearable. I yearned to understand, to sympathize, so I befriended harlots, freed some who were enslaved. I burned to prove my beauty and inflame with desire, so I lived through them. All not enough, never enough. I am consumed to ashes with the hunger to feel as they do, to know what they were born with. Half the empire to the physician who can gift me with my own vagina. Obeliscus. I found it, restored it, erected it. Hadrian's vanished monument to his lost beloved, the virile Antinous. That obeliscus now stands proudly at the Circus Varianus, glistening gloriously seductive pink after sun showers, doubling as a tribute to my own beloved Heracles, whose passion I constantly ache to penetrate my inmost being, for whom I long to prove wife and queen. For those are the words that call out, and more, for the world to rise up and celebrate us. Final section called Finis. And now the empire is stable, but like some reborn hydra, the poisonous jaws are endless, relentless, and won't stay dead. My Heracles not acknowledged, formal power for women still resisted, the Roman elite still clinging to their motley crew of gods and goddesses, my great union under Elagabalus not countenanced, my inborn difference not understood, and a torment worse by the day, and grandmother plotting again, this time to cast me aside, forcing my other cousin Alexander, 4 years younger and more pliable, on me as heir, transparently the lethal knife hovering nearby. In time-honored Roman fashion, I tried an assassination, but Alexander still lives. The ever-fickle Praetorian Guard now demand to see Mama and I. Why, I wonder, did all this come to the beautiful twirling child I once was? Only Elagabalus knows that. Oh, we will go to the Praetorians. I fear they lie in wait, but go we must. Our path is laid. I will make the attempt. If the worst happens, what then of my memory? What will become of that? Violated and besmirched, I suspect, but if not now, then someday may my legacy triumph. Look at my denarius, and know I tried to turn the world right side up. Consider the little coin again, and know Rome once had a young, beautiful empress from faraway Emcee. And the postscript. Elagabalus, a name not given to her until after her death, was murdered at age 18 along with her mother on March 11th, 222 CE by the Praetorian Guard. Their bodies were dragged through Rome and dumped into the Tiber River.
Wow. Wow, that was powerful. Very, very powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a chapbook right there. That needs to be, that could win contests.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's basically a true story.
Mm-hmm.
When I ran across it, I'm a trans woman, so I thought, okay, well, I have to do something on this. Now, I've put a lot of interpretation on it. Some of the sources are contradictory. It's in pieces, and it took about 4 or 5 months to write that. And I did a fair bit of research in trying to pin things down. And then I tried to find my own through line, like some sort of interpretation of things that made sense to me, which might not be the way everybody would interpret it, but I have a feeling like I have an insight that a lot of historians don't particularly have. But the statement of half the empire to the physician who can gift me with a vagina, that's in the historical record. And so I sort of took my cue from there, and I figured, okay, I think that doesn't sound like something somebody would make up. So then I went from there.
Yeah. It brought to mind to me the, Gwendolyn McEwen's T.E. Lawrence poems. I don't know if you've ever read those, but it's a persona poem like that, like what you've done, a collection. And it is historical, but it brings in her imagination as well and feathers it together. And your through line was totally clear and just swept me along anyway. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much. And it's interesting you mentioned Gwendolyn McEwen's T.E. Lawrence poems. I have read them. And to be honest, when I was working on this, I was thinking of Gwendolyn McEwen. And I was thinking of some of the stuff she did with T.E. Lawrence and other works that she had, and she was an inspiration, because I thought, what she did was interesting, and so I tried to emulate it in some ways.
I was fortunate enough to see her read back in the 80s.
Wow.
She was one of those poets who she just brought a little index card with the titles of her poems. So she knew her order, and she'd just look for the next title, and then she just recited completely by memory all of them.
Oh, heavens.
It was stunning. Yeah, just stunning. But yours are right up there.
Thank you.
That was fabulous. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Yes, beautiful. All right, and like I said, there's chapbook contests out there. I'm sure you would slaughter it if you got it out.
Well, I entered it into one. The Exile magazine or something, they have a Gwendolyn McEwen contest.
Oh, there you go.
So I thought, well, this is a natural. So I put it in there. We'll see what happens.
Perfect. Keep us posted. That was super. All right, let's shuffle along. That was very, very beautiful. All right, Kathleen is up next. Another one from Zoomland, from the Sunshine Coast. Kathleen, yeah, we can hear you.
All right, I feel like I should say, and now going to another planet.
Yeah, totally.
So, stop your hollering, for Pete's sake. Anne had shouted at Benji from the living room, but it hadn't done any good. Anne's grandmother had insisted that Anne go into the bedroom that had been her father's when he was little, the bedroom that she was now forced to share with her younger brother. Her grandmother told her to pretend to go to sleep so Benji would settle down, as though it were that easy to trick a kid, Anne scoffed. Anne was way older and shouldn't be having the same bedtime as Benji. Anne shouldn't even be staying at her grandmother's house with Benji. She should have her own week alone with her grandparents, when she would have them all to herself. But her father had said she had to go stay with them while Benji was there. It's too much for your grandmother to take care of Benji all by herself all day. You go keep him company. It's only for a week. Anne knew Benji was only staying with the grandparents because her mother was having another baby and might go to the hospital any day, and he was too little to be left without a grown-up. When Anne's mother had told Anne's grandmother about the new baby coming, Anne's grandmother had said, "Not again. When are you going to stop?" Anne's mother had marched right out of the room without saying anything, something she only did when she was really, really mad. Anne didn't mind a new baby in the family, as long as it wasn't a howler like Benji. Anne must have fallen asleep at the same time as Benji did, because they were both up early the next morning, sitting on the thin, cold carpet at the foot of the great-grandfather clock, praying for it to cuckoo so their grandmother would come out and start the day. It was to be a big day because the laundryman was coming and Anne had important work to do helping her grandmother. After breakfast, Anne and her grandmother put all the sheets, pillowcases, towels, tablecloths, napkins, shirts, and handkerchiefs into separate piles. Benji was driving his toy truck up and down and around the piles, but nobody minded because the laundry was already dirty. Look at each one carefully, Anne. Make sure there's no tears, no missing buttons, nothing that needs mending. I gotta be sure that any rip is from them. They always try to say something was already torn when it was them that done it. You count each one too. I ain't giving them 10 handkerchiefs and getting back 9. And write it all down in my laundry book, what it is and how many. Use this pencil. Anne wrote the number 10 and then the word handkerchief. That's a good girl. Suddenly there was a loud rapping on the back door. Anne's grandmother let the man in. I want chocolate, Benji yelled as he came running towards him. Don't be stupid. It's the laundry man, not the ice cream man. Just because he's all dressed in white, jeez, Anne whispered to Benji as she grabbed him. While the man was picking up the laundry to put into his cloth bags, Anne's grandmother took the clean laundry he had brought with him into the dining room. She brought her laundry book with her. It was open to the page that listed everything that she had sent out the week before. Help me check for tears, Anne, and count it all. Make sure it matches with what it says in my book. They're always trying to cheat you. Anne's mother told Anne not to listen to her grandmother when she said things like that, but Anne figured she was still allowed to help count. Then she came into the dining room with his truck. Keep away from the clean laundry, Anne shouted at him. Not that Benji would listen to her. Then Anne suddenly remembered the time when she had been playing hide and seek outdoors with some big kids. She had found a great hiding spot under some bushes, but it had started to get late. The ground was getting damp and bugs were coming out, maybe even a tarantula, which could kill a kid if it bit the kid. And it was getting too dark to see a snake. That might be a boa constrictor that would wrap itself around a kid and squeeze the kid until it couldn't breathe. And still no one came to find her. Finally, Anne couldn't stand it any longer and came out, but no one was there. Then Anne knew it had all been a trick by the big kids to get rid of her. Hey, Benji, you want to play hide and seek? I'll count to 100. Anne covered her eyes and started counting. Stop it, Anne, her grandmother said. You're making me lose count. Anne had to stop then, but Benji was already long gone. The trick had worked, only too well, Anne was to learn later. Are you finished? I gotta get going, the laundryman shouted from the kitchen. Hold your horses. We're nearly done, Anne's grandmother shouted back. Count the napkins. Them's damask linen. So's the tablecloth. Check, it's got my laundry mark on the inside hem. I don't want nobody else's old tablecloth. Look for scorch marks, too. I'm paying for ironing, not for scorching. Check your grandfather's uniform shirts. My laundry marks will be on the inside collar. See, like this, Anne's grandmother pointed out the black mark made by the laundry in special ink on the inside starched collar and showed Anne how the mark matched the one on the cover of her laundry book. When Anne and her grandmother finally returned to the kitchen, the laundryman was just gathering everything up into a gigantic canvas bag and slinging it over his shoulder. You must be getting older, Mrs. Champion, because this bag is awful heavy. Anne and her grandmother listened to him grunt and groan, and then watched him drag the bag into the laundry van and drive away. Where's Benji? Anne's grandmother suddenly asked. Just hiding somewhere. Well, you find him. It's lunchtime. Anne searched under the beds, in the closets, under the tables and chairs, behind the couch, behind the doors, and even in the big bathtub with 4 feet that looked like lion's claws. The bathtub that was so high that Benji needed a stool to get into it, but there was no Benji. And now Anne had to tell her grandmother that she had lost her brother. But where could he be? The last time I saw him, he was playing with his truck in the kitchen with all that dirty laundry. Oh, no. Anne's grandmother grabbed her head with her hands. She rushed to the telephone. Anne could hear the voices on the party line. Anne knew you weren't supposed to interrupt anyone else's call on the shared telephone line, but her grandmother was shouting into the phone just the same. She told the people on the line it was an emergency and they needed to look out for the laundry van and send him right back to her house. She asked them to call all the neighbors with the same message. Can't we just call the laundry, Grandma? That man's got a lot of pickups and deliveries before he goes back there. Anne's grandmother sat back in her easy chair, wiped her face with her handkerchief, and let out the biggest sigh Anne had ever heard. Oh, Anne, your grandmother's too old for this, watching little kids. Anne looked into her grandmother's face. She is older than my mother, and she looks real tired. My mother can outrun me, especially if she's mad at me or if I'm in trouble, but I don't think my grandmother can. What can we do, Grandma? There ain't nothing we can do. Benji's just got to save himself. Just then there was a loud banging at the door. I ain't washing, drying, starching, and ironing this, the laundryman said as he handed Benji over. Anne's grandmother was thanking the laundryman and crying at the same time. Just check him over, the laundryman said, grinning. I don't want you claiming that I brought him back wrinkled or scorched, and make sure he's yours. Don't want you to think I'm cheating you, the laundryman winked. How did you ever find him? Are you kidding? Oh, my very next stop when I opened the van door, I heard his awful hollering. I'm sure they could hear him up and down the whole street. Loud enough to wake the dead it was. Lord, that kid can holler. It was at that moment that Anne decided that she would never, ever again tell Benji, or any other kid for that matter, not to holler. She now knew that hollering is good for kids. The end.
Perfect. That timing was just ideal there, Kathleen. We figured it out just at the right moment. And you confirmed it. That was super. Thank you. All right, David is the next one up here, and he's gonna take over the big screen there. And there you are. Good evening, David.
You're wrong place.
Mute is off. Perfect.
Okay, this is I've come across an old document and it appears to be a message, and I'm going to read it. To Goliath of Gath from David of Israel. Date 22nd June in the Haldry calendar. Don't know what you guys use. Dear Goliath, personal and confidential. First, Goliath, I'm paying an Assyrian scribe down the market to write this in Philistine. He says he's fluent in it. He'd better be or else. And just don't blame me if any of it reads a bit funny. So Goliath, my King Saul has got it into his head again that us Israelites have to defeat you Philistines once and for all. I'm sure you've been following this saga. Change the record, eh? Saul keeps looking west, saying he'd have a non-stop chariot drive to the sea. If only he could get past Philistine cities like Ashkelon, Ekron, Gaza, and of course your home turf in Gath. Saul's got what diplomats call Mediterranean ambitions, right? Anyway, thing is, Saul is going to challenge your king Abimelech. How do you people put up with saying his name? Honestly, Abimelech? Anyway, challenge him to battle. I know you've done good in the heavyweight division, smiting people hip and thigh, the scrolls say, and slaying some guy with the jawbone of an ass, was it? Oh no, that was Samson, sorry. Anyway, based on your record, the Philistine army are bound to put you in the front line. You being a giant and all, not your fault, I'm only saying, pituitary gland and so on, not your fault. So cut to the chase, long story short, if this all goes ahead, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, if the word of God is anything to go by. Look, I'm a musician, me. All I do is cheer up King Saul when he's down by playing my lyre. But I am fit, martial arts, you name it, working on upper body definition at the gym. So anyway, Saul wants to put me in the front line of our army. Nice one. Mucho gracias, Your Royal Highness. By the way, King Saul also has this notion that I look good as a statue. Can you believe it? But not playing my lyre, oh no. Not crouched like a tiger, snarling. Well, okay, I made up that bit, the tiger. No, not in attack mode at all. He says that he sees me, that's artist talk, sees me as a young dude hanging out on a summer afternoon, just sunning and smiling at the bros in the hood. Would I have my sling and rock? I asked him. Oh, no, only if you sort of hide them a bit, like a slung casually back over your left shoulder, out of sight, as though you'd slung that light linen summer jacket of yours, say 2 fingers in the loop, but not glaring or attacking, okay? More a cool smile for your admirers on the street. Naked, I ask? Well, you have to be alert with a king, right? Never know where he's going with this. Yes, of course, naked, he says. But if the sculptor were to carve a 3-part fig leaf over, down there, would you agree to that? I told him straight, only if it's carved 2,500 years after I'm dead and in a different country altogether. I'm not going to be sniggered at through all posterity by the tribes of Israel. So back to the battle, okay? Here's my idea, but keep it under your hat. If you wear a hat, I'm not up on Philistine headgear. When the 2 armies blow their fanfares, how about you and me stand up and propose that instead of a mass battle, just you and me have a go at each other in no man's land, a proper smackdown, like a cage match. And whichever of us wins, their side will be declared winner of the whole war. We could jazz it up a bit with some tattoos, and a mask is always a nice touch. Nothing really dangerous, mind, so be sure to blunt your sword blade, take the edge off a bit. Bit of emery cloth, 5-minute job. I reckon we could put on a show that'll go down in history, get written up in some great big book, who knows? Where's a book, anyway? How did that word get in there? Now, money. You know what they say about kings, long pockets and short arms. But I know a chap here, a Canaanite. They're all right, really, Canaanites, when you get to know them. He runs a book on horse races, gladiators, you name it. So if he could get among the crowd first and rustle up some heavy betting, then we could take a cut afterwards. This is the scroll. Now listen, I'd go the other way. No, another thing, the crowd likes the underdog, don't they? Now you're the big fella, so you could spice it up even more by wearing armor, a helmet. Chains look good, brass knuckles. They always get the crowd mad, don't they, brass knuckles? Me, I go the other way. No armor at all, nothing, barefoot. Just a loincloth in what do you think, beige? Not beige, maybe khaki, fawn, taupe even, or écru. Is that what the word écru? I don't know. I don't know about naked, though. Do you guys do naked much? Now listen, I've got this trick I've been doing to impress Saul. I knock an eagle right out of the sky with a stone from my slingshot. It only stuns it for a minute because it's not a real stone, just a lump of gum. Then I pick up the stunned eagle, hand it over to King Saul. When the eagle wakes up a bit, I shout, "Oh, look, magic!" And Saul, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, reckons he's been blessed with a miracle. He can raise the dead. But the trick is, beforehand, I've showed him a real stone, even let him touch it. Then I do the old switcheroo trick in my pouch. I'd better wear a pouch even if I am naked. I do a switch with a lump of gum. Now listen, I'm a crack shot. I could put one between your eyes 10 times out of 10 and you'd only get a little bruise. So in this battle, are you with me, Goliath? And these details are what count. You do some swiping and stabbing and shout some Philistine swear words, even if my guys don't understand what you're saying. Then I play scared, so your guys jeer at me. And then remember to snarl at the front rows. Snatch off your helmet like a dare, make a big charge towards me, and zappo, I sling the phony stone at your head. But remember, you have to give it the big scream groan business, writhing and falling down. Make a big cloud of dust if you can manage that. And the show's over, everyone's had a good afternoon out, right? Hunky-dory, top of the pops, all go home happy. So what do you think? Uh-oh, got to run. Saul likes his music about this time of day. He'll be moping about the courtyard, saying he's feeling down again. Hypo-bloody-chondriac. Migraines, I bet it's migraines. And please, will I play my lyre? Yes, master, I want to get my bleeding lyre. What a life. I hope he's forgotten that idea about the statue. If it wasn't for my gym membership being locked in for a year here in Jerusalem, and they don't transfer it, I'd be off down the road tomorrow and join the Moabites, work on my tan beside the Dead Sea. Anyway, text me on this, tell me what you think. Cheers and salam, David of Israel. This bit wasn't visible because of the camera. All the trouble to make a spread and it couldn't be seen.
Absolutely. That was hilarious. Oh my God. What a mashup of the modern and the ancient. Beautiful. Thank you for the laughs, David. All right. We're going to come back to in-house now, and we've got Vicki Drybrough who's going to share a story with us. A little bit of a longer one so we can settle in. You're on deck, Victoria. You're on deck. Okay. All right. Char is going to do the two-handed mic arrangement. There we go. Sneaky.
Perfect. Okay, there we go.
Beautiful.
I think so. Can you hear me? Is it on? Can you hear me? Anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah,
Good.
we're good. Just
Thank you.
keep close to the mic, Vicki. We're good.
Okay. This is a part from my novel, but I got sidetracked. And so now it kind of is leading me off path to do other things. But anyway, this is it. It's a family that I used to know. It's called the McAllisters. I live on a small island. And when I think of all the families gone from here, I feel sad. They say 2/3 of the people who grew up in small coastal communities have moved away, replaced by people with money from the mainland. My family was too small to fill up all the space we were offered by beach, meadow, road, and sky. But down the road from us lived the McAllisters, and they, without a doubt, filled all the space there was. There were 8 kids, Mom, Dad, and Grandma, all stuffed into a 4-bedroom white house with a red roof. Mr. McAllister, a tall, quiet man with blue eyes and a mouth that looked as if it might broaden into a grin at any moment, worked as the engineer on the ferry. Rose, a plump little lady with blonde hair and cheeks like apples, had pumped out a kid every year or two until their house was overflowing. There was a McAllister kid in each grade in the 2-room school. No matter where you went, there was always a McAllister. On the whole, I remember the McAllister kids as good-natured and rambunctious. As far as I know, none of them ever resorted to meanness to get their way. There was a great deal of yelling and arguing, but it almost always ended peacefully. They didn't have much, but none of us did. You could put your stuff, down, and when you came back, it would still be there. Ian was the only one you had to watch because he'd steal your lunch or anything else he fancied. If you caught him, he just shrugged and returned what he had taken with a smile. My friend and I liked to play make-believe in a small sandy cove protected by tall trees. We built castles and moats and had tea parties and feasts. Some days there would be a pile of bikes lying at the end of the road, and we knew the McAllisters were there, so we went to play somewhere else. They weren't mean or anything like that, but we liked our games, and they always took over and changed things. No matter what time of day it was, you would see kids playing in the McAllisters' sprawling yard. It was littered with toys and bikes and the ever-present little red tricycle. I don't remember which one of them got it new, but each time it was handed down from one child to the next, Mr. McAllister hammered out any dings, replaced the handlebar grips or the pedal rubbers, and gave it another coat of red paint. I remember the time the ferry was late leaving town because Mr. McAllister had to run up to the hardware store to buy red paint. Tomorrow, Robbie was inheriting the little red tricycle. As we waited for him to return, we could already see Robbie bent over the handlebars, little legs pumping like pistons up the long driveway after the older kids on their bigger bikes. The McAllister kids owned the beaches and backyards, beat back the long roads on their 3-speeds, squatted in the dirt outside the tiny store, peeling the wrappers off the slabs of pink gum to find the baseball cards underneath. In the summer, the older kids swam and played in the sunset before the long ride home from the beach at dusk, wet bathing suits dancing from their handlebars. Who could forget 12-year-old George McAllister riding his sister's bike backwards down the steep hill at the July 1st picnic? Legs spread wide in a V as he steered with his elbows, screaming as if he was possessed. He bore down upon the picnic area like a runaway train, with friends and younger siblings trailing far behind. Just as he approached maximum velocity, the bike took a sickening turn, pinwheeled into the air, and George was flung like a sack of spuds into the side of Herbie Jones's truck. My friend and I each brought him a chocolate bar, and he let us sign his cast. Everyone remembers when 10-year-old Samantha McAllister, with her mother's coloring and her father's height, dressed in a skimpy fairy costume, towered over the other little fairies in the Christmas concert. The fairies were tiptoeing around, waving their wands, when Bert Thompson, who was playing Santa, knocked one of them over with his sack, causing her to fall flat on her face and lose one of her wings. Samantha immediately called him an asshole and punched him in the eye. Thinking it was part of the play, the audience howled with laughter. Bert put his hand to his eye and began to wail, so Samantha shoved him and called him a goddamn sissy. The fairy, who had been knocked down, stood up and kicked Bert in the shins. The audience roared again. When one of the elves came forward to help Bert, Samantha pushed him off the stage into the enormous Christmas tree. The remaining 2 elves, both McAllisters, rushed forward, yelling like Tarzan, and launched themselves into the paper chains, garland, and tinsel-covered branches. The audience went wild. Mrs. Davis, who was backstage helping with costumes, became suspicious of all the laughter and came out to see what was happening. The curtains were quickly drawn, and although the audience clapped and clapped for an encore, the next performance was announced and the concert continued. When it was all over and Santa had given out candy and presents, everyone was friends again, and Bert made the rounds, proudly displaying his swollen eye. Excuse me. Grandma died in 1965, And 2 years later, Rose died of a heart attack. Annie and Rob had just started junior high, so Sarah stayed on for a couple of years to help her dad, and then she moved away. One by one, the kids left for jobs on the mainland. When Rob and Annie graduated and found jobs elsewhere, Mr. McAllister closed the house and moved to the Okanagan, where he remarried. The property stood empty for a long time. Trees grew up in the meadow, hiding the house from the road. Finally, a developer subdivided it, and now multi-million-dollar homes with swimming pools, expensive landscaping, and iron fencing sit side by side where the kids used to ride their bikes. The new driveways are concrete. The original driveway is now a lane, not called McAllister Lane, but Marlene Lane, whoever she is. But if you take the trouble to look in the bush across the road, beneath the salal, half sunk in the earth, forgotten for 40 years, is a pair of small, rusted handlebars attached to the remains of a tricycle. Hidden from the sun, protected from the rain, a tiny speck of red where the frame joins the forks is all that remains of the larger-than-life McAllister family. Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Transporting. That's done a lot of transporting tonight, going back in time and yeah, various points in history, but I could definitely connect with that. We had a family in our neighborhood was similar. Yeah, I'll tell you about it after. But yeah, and I love the way you took us to the tricycle at the end as that sort of a symbol of that time and how it's overgrown, but it's still there, right? It's in the land now. It's melded with the land. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, Victoria Roscoe-Roumanis is going to share some poetry or prose with us tonight. It's going to be prose tonight. All right, and maybe a little bit of poetry squeezed in there. Awesome, thank you.
So, but I'm also going to go back in time. Somehow Christmas does that to us, doesn't it? We sort of remember so many things of times past. Thank you. Oh, okay. I got to look a band down as well. Oh dear. So the first one is just a little poem. We've all seen a lot of white around us at the moment. So this was one called White on White. Silently snowflakes fall like white blossom from a tree, floating as the wind blows, finding an earthly resting place, gently filling every crevice until the earth with all its clutter becomes white on white. So there's a snowflakes. Now I'm going back to winter on the farm where I grew up in Cheshire, England. Wonderful memories of that time. Winter evening, and the cows were in for the night, securely fastened by the neck with a collar made of chain. When I think of the scene, I can still hear the sound of the chains clinking as the cows move their heads to pull their hay, together with the sound of their chewing and their powerful breathing. I could feel the warmth of their body heat. The cowshed was a cozy place at this time of year. I entered via the root house, where the smell of animal feed and mangels, turnips, greeted me. The feed was stored in large wooden bins, the mangels piled on the floor next to the large iron shredder. I loved to shred the mangels, holding the wooden handle that made the clunking sound as it did its work. The mangels were fresh from our fields and had a strong, earthy aroma. I would slide open the wooden door to enter the cow's domain. The warmth and soft smell of cow and hay reached my nostrils. I reached out to stroke the neck of one of them, looked into her big eyes, admired her long, long eyelashes. I would put my hand under her mouth and feel the rough sandpaper tongue lick my hand. I was comfortable here, and the sounds of the cows brought me peace. I went to the far corner of the shippen, Cheshire dialect for cowshed, and climbed the vertical ladder up to the hayloft, where the sweet smell of fresh hay filled the air. It was also cozy warm here, due to the hay's insulation and the rising heat of the cows below. When I was younger, I used to play many different games up here with my friends. I threw down a bale of hay, where it landed with a thud on the concrete floor below. Chains jangled as the startled cows raised their heads. I took hold of the 2 strands of baling string that bound and encompassed the hay. I carried it out through the sliding door, sliding the door back into place, crossed the root house, closing the double door as I left. Then I carried the bale across the yard in the crisp night air to the stable at the rear of the farm for my horse's evening meal. I was welcomed by a gentle whinny from my loyal friend, Jupiter. I opened the hay bale and placed a portion in the hay rack in the loose box. I put my arms around his strong neck, breathing in the familiar horsey smell, which to this day is sweet perfume to my senses. Jupiter was my life and pleasure as we trained daily for the equestrian events we took part in. In downtime, when he lay in the straw for his snooze, I would lie next to him with my head on his shoulder. We were a team and the closest of companions. That's the one. And another few memories of Christmas and Christmas past. Christmas is a mix of nostalgic memories past, pleasant and not so pleasant. I carry traditions from childhood, gathering new ones every year, up to and including the Christmas recently passed. Christmas is like a rolling stone, always gathering. No other celebration compares with Christmas. Each piece of decoration in my home holds a memory. Every Christmas carol stirs the emotion of my heart as I travel back to my days in Daresbury Church Choir in the north of England. Many years ago, the rector at this church was the father of Lewis Carroll of Alice in Wonderland fame. It was a large parish, and for 1 week before Christmas, the choir would take their carols out into the crisp night air and descend on the doorsteps of the parishioners' homes. I can still see the choir master tapping his tuning fork on the wall of the house. Sorry, I'm not reading very well tonight. I can still see the choir master tapping his tuning fork on the wall of the house we were outside of, and pursing his lips as he hummed to give the correct key. The parish was a wealthy one, and some of the larger homes, able to afford maids, invited the choir inside for delicious snacks and drinks. The adults were offered alcoholic beverages. We had a couple of gentlemen choristers who enjoyed several drinks at each stop. By the end of the evening, these 2 men required a guiding hand to find their way. One of them drove his family home. It was always a surprise that he made it safely. The caroling was a joyful time, and we young ones certainly had our fun. It was a time not to be missed. My present little nativity scene with its special nostalgic pieces reminds me of the more elaborate one I used to set up on the top of our piano at my childhood home. I had made a battery-lit stable and light guiding a star, moss and rocks for the mountains, a painted backdrop of the night sky. All the nativity figures were present. It was beautiful, and I wish I had a photograph of it now. The Royal Mail in England at that time was delivered on Christmas Day. Our mailman rode a bicycle. My father always invited him in for a very stiff drink, and when the postman left staggering, we would all watch through the window as he tried to mount his 2 wheels. When he eventually did, we watched him wobble left and right down the road, and we all had a good laugh. It was the highlight of the day. Christmases past have not always been left happy memories, and although I do not want to recall these days, they somehow always keep tumbling into the present. Now I have to ad-lib a bit because COVID happened and things changed, and previous Christmases before COVID, I had a wonderful group of friends. There were about 12 or 13 of us for dinner on Christmas Eve, and we had fun. It was like an old Christmas. We sang carols together. People did little skits. Somebody played music. It was just such a wonderful time, and I played my wind-up record player. But since then, people seem to have drifted apart. So it's not quite the same, but those memories are still good ones. And but it was rather like days without TV. It was really beautiful. And after Christmas, we used to go on Christmas Day itself. We'd go for walks on the dike and just really have a wonderful time together. And this walk would remind me of the exhilarating chase riding my horse at the hunt with the foxhounds on Boxing Day when I was young. Sometimes it did snow, and one year I remember the horse brought me home after the hunt because I was so frozen, my hands could not hold him back. We arrived home in the farmyard where my father had to lift me off my horse and take me inside for a hot bath, and afterwards a seat by the fire with a hot drink. Yes, Christmas is rather like a spinning top as we spiral through all the past joys and hurts, catching a glimpse of oh so many different scenes of Christmas pageants past. In 12 months, we will choose the setting and create our next scene. So Happy New Year and Happy Christmas to you all.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for sharing those.
Have I got time to read one more?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
Well, sort of short, but it was fun, a fun night. We're back in now we're in New Year. We've left Christmas behind, and it's called Wasn't It a Party? Those were the days, my friends, the days of my youth in the city of London, England. The regular parties lasted into the wee small hours of the morning. Great friends, great music, great dancing. A particular one I remember was at New Year's. At around 4 a.m., 4 of us were driving back home across London, and myself, being the most sober, was the driver. Sure enough, there was a roadblock, and the police flagged us down. My heart sank. Luckily, they came to the passenger side of the car, which meant they could not catch a whiff of my breath. Phil, an Irish girl who had plenty to say even when she wasn't drunk, started to flirt with the bobby. "Oh, officer, how are you? Oh, why don't you come in here next to me? Officer, come in here and join me," etc., etc. I was praying she would just shut up. However, perhaps this helped as the policeman was so taken up with Phil that they hardly paid any attention to me. I didn't even have to show my driving license or walk the white line. They wished us a Happy New Year and sent us on our way.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you for that. All right, we're going back into the Zoom land now, and our next reader is going to be Karen Poirier from here in Port Alberni. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening. I've got 3 poems here, and the first one was written one day when we were camped on Quadra Island. We were on the Rebecca Spit, which is particularly beautiful. And I had taken out my sketchbook and was drawing and ended up with a poem instead. So, and it's entitled Weewakai. Emcee, patched and worn, needle-sharp mast stretched taut, and the eagle cries. Outer calm, liquid paleness, milky clouds leaking, crystal raindrops. Rolling tides lick the shore, soggy sand, salty shells, dripping driftwood tossed about. ebb and flow, ebb and flow. Sight distorted, fingers stiff, powerful surges rising. The ocean within me, ebb and flows, flows and ebbs. And the next one is more of a winter one. I had written it some time ago. Winter lace. She comes to me in the dark edge of day, dripping and streaming, tapping mysterious rhythms on fogged window panes. She tiptoes discreetly in a twilight night dress. With a sweep of her hand, her gown falls away, exchanging raindrops with frozen white lace. Finely spun hair set softly on soil where she lay, covering frost-tipped needles and stick-like grass. A dusky drape draws over her secret still place, lightly caressing tall naked trees. The moon turns to sun and blue shadows set free on her sleeping fresh form in the new morning light. Her looking glass mirror unveils a bright twin of sparkling blue mountains and an emerald green lake. The sounds of cold rises and pinches my cheeks, chasing the grayness of lingering night. She stirs and stretches her awakening pale limbs, smiles as she slips on her sunlit-soaked dress. Speckled gray trees wear her finely webbed lace, beaded with blood-red yew berries. Her crystal eyes sparkle, her tears slowly swell, and her delicate mesh slides down the dark twigs, melts, and disappears. And the last one is, I wrote Going Down the Canal Again, and it's called Almost September. Coffee in a paper cup, chocolate donuts in a box, colorful laughter, quiet chatter, early morning mist. Seagulls perch, inspect, serenade. Passengers climb the metal walkway, nomads for a day. Beneath my feet, a boat motor grinds. Muted blue headlands and green velvet trees rise up from the sea, ragged reflections on either side of glistening gray waters. White domed eagles, sharp-eyed, stare from treetops. My gray hair blows in the wind, face cooled, camera ready. Puffy clouds drape, blue-green grayness, and an elfin village. Red postage stamp roofs, strawberry ripple ice cream, and a walk on the boardwalk. I taste freedom, touch the rough texture of wooden railings, revel in gardens wild with morning glories, rhododendrons wide as a city block, and tiny houses soaked in sea breath. I feel fresh air sleepy and dream of home, riding the Francis Barclay on an almost September day. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, and thank you, Karen, for taking us down the canal tonight on that little journey. Beautiful. Love the imagery, as always. Can tell Karen's a visual artist, right? Her images are so strong in her poetry, so that's great. All right, I'm going to read a couple little pieces, and then Raven Fox and the Wizard are going to join us in person here. Has arrived at the last moment, just in time. I'll pop up to the mic here. We have to bring this up there. There we are. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of a rerun that I read last year at this time called The Mistress of Christmas, but then I've got a poem to come afterward that is more current and kind of takes us to the current state of affairs with my mother-in-law, who's still with us in Echo Village. She won't be coming home this Christmas, but we can go in and see her in there, so it's all good. So I'll dedicate this to her, Morgan Maxwell, the Mistress of Christmas. For many years, my mother-in-law earned and re-earned her honorary title of the Mistress of Christmas, not just for her headlong embracing of the giving spirit of the season, but also for her ability to make Christmas physically manifest inside and outside our home. For her, the season began in late November with numerous trips to Walmart and the dollar store to snag her share of the latest in lights, lasers, and tree trimmings. The bolder, the better. Sometimes I wondered if she saw herself as a player in a secret competition to see who could shout Christmas the loudest, and shout it she did. By the 1st of December, she'd be hounding me to drag the boxes out of the crawl space so she could start sorting and planning the strategy for the year, though in the end, the performance varied only to what had been added to the mix. She preferred to store the Christmas kitsch in large apple boxes with removable lids she could write on, though the contents rarely matched the labels. And every year, I'd be down there on my hands and knees, dragging them through the concrete dust and spiders to propel them up through the trap door. This involved at least 2 instances of me whacking my forehead on a floor joist or the cold air return duct on the furnace, the former of which was followed by a string of profanities that sent the dog fleeing to the far end of the house, fearing he had done something wrong, and the latter of which resulted in a percussive boom that could be heard next door, followed by my mother-in-law's concerned query, "Are you all right down there?" She liked to do the outside lights first, preferring to undertake that at night when the darkness would allow her to properly see the stunning visual effect she was creating step by step as it unfolded. Every tree and bush in the yard endured a yearly transformation from its natural symmetry into a platform for my mother-in-law's unbridled enthusiasm for Christmas. Strings of multicolored lights spiraled off into the heavens from every corner of the yard. Some glowed in mute colors, some shone brighter than Rudolph's infamous nose, and some flashed on and off erratically as if dancing to the frantic beat of a metal band on amphetamines. Layers of floodlights and lasers played across the facade of the house, washing it in greens and reds and gigantic snowflakes. The coup de grace came in the form of old CDs hung with fishing line from the cherry tree, so as to reflect and amplify the vision of glory she had created. To her credit, she never succumbed to anything as easy as inflatable Santas or Yodas, those cheap vinyl blow-ups that spend the days collapsed like giant spent condoms on the lawn and then rear up every evening to bob and sway unnaturally in the breeze. I remember the first Christmas as a dutiful new son-in-law, donning my raincoat to help her light up the yard, thinking I was in for a half hour of ladders and extension cords before returning to the sanctity of our dry living room and a hot cup of tea. 3 hours later, I was still clinging to the upper reaches of the tallest tree in the yard, trying to dangle giant silver balls from the branch tips while my mother-in-law directed me from the ground, saying, "Out just a few more inches, just a few more inches." As I finally dropped down out of the branches to feel the ground beneath my shaky legs, I turned around just in time to see the neighbor standing in the roadway with his hands in his coat pockets and his toque snug down over his ears. Our symphony of lights played across the contours of his face as he sized me and all our decorations up in one look and said, "Are you done yet?" Rather than responding, I looked beyond him to his box-shaped bungalow with a single string of muted blue lights standing tall in a perfect straight line along his eaves trough, and tried not to imagine what he must be thinking. One would expect that after the orgy of color and kitsch on the front lawn, my mother-in-law would be content with a more sedate tree indoors, but hey, she's not called the Mistress of Christmas for nothing. With just one We just sold one of the 3 fake trees that has graced our living room over the years. It was called a flocked tree with built-in lighting and faux frosting on the tips of the branches. For a fake tree, it didn't look half bad on its own without any extra adornments. But for my mother-in-law, a Christmas tree was not a Christmas tree unless it rendered your home visible as you drove down the hump into town at night. Extra strings of lights wound back and forth like garter snakes balling up in spring to mate. Suffice it to say, we never had any trouble reading the to and from tickets on the presents under the tree, even at night. As if the lights weren't enough, every branch bent with the weight of multiple balls, glass icicles, snowmen, and even an occasional ceramic pickle. Garlands spiraled around the outer reaches of the trees, of the tree threaded through, between, and over the ornaments. On the top sat a lopsided angel with gauzy fiber optical wings, stony eyes, and frighteningly real-looking hair. Her overall appearance reminded me of a feminized version of Chucky, which would surely have given children bad dreams. Over the years, the angel gave way to a variety of malfunctioning stars, depending on what China had concocted for the dollar store that year. And bit by bit, the number of boxes in our crawl space grew. This year, we were moving and had to haul every last box up, inspect it, and decide what to keep and what to give away. I managed to whack my head on a low joist just once, and I don't think I even swore. My mother-in-law came to visit from Echo Village the night we decorated the tree. She's confined to a Broda chair now and has to be hoisted onto the toilet or into bed at night, but that old familiar gleam was in her eyes as we placed our cherished ornaments one by one upon the branches. And as she relaxed in a Santa Claus cap with Michael Bublé crooning carols on the TV, and her granddaughter applied red and green nail polish to her fingernails, complete with snowflakes and gold stripes, she looked to be completely back in her old glory. It was almost as if with each fingernail painted, her body was finally becoming the manifestation of a Christmas she had strived for all those years without the need for artificial lights. When it was time for her to go home, we bagged up a small plug-in Christmas tree for her to put on her night table and added a rigid red stocking ornament to go under it. Thankfully, as we loaded her into the lift-equipped van that took her home, she didn't even notice the one sad-looking reindeer made of bent wire and blue lights parked on our front lawn. It's our only exterior nod to Christmas, and likely would have made her sigh in disgust. Or maybe she saw it and decided not to make a fuss. Maybe she secretly knows what we do, that the Mistress of Christmas is a title she will rightfully take with her when she leaves this plane of existence, and that no one but her could ever earn the right to wear that mantle in our little family, where the most important things are often understood by all without the need for speaking them aloud. Thank you. So now, like I said, we can't bring her out this year. She's bedridden most of the time, but anyway, she's still with us, and we're just glad to get another Christmas with her. So it's great. But anyway, I had this synchronicity happen the other night. It'll come out in the poem. And often synchronicities lead to poetry for me for some reason. Anyway, this one's called Small Pleasures. Last night, the dog paced and panted on the new Berber carpet, long past 4 a.m. The rain ticking on the shingles, too much for him. The bill for the carpet, too much for me. I sat up and recited a mantra till the anxiety in the room broke and I lay back down and tilted into sleep and dreamed I had signed on for a medically assisted death. But before the time came, I bailed on the agreement, not wanting to miss a turn on the magic carpet of living, not wanting to leave without wringing the time available dry. The next day, my mother-in-law says to my wife, "Don't let them switch me off," even though she's not plugged into any machines, but bedridden is bad enough, veering from one dose of Dilaudid to the next, the pain a constant shadow in the corner, the doctor saying it's not likely to get better the deeper the ulcer drills into her heel. We feed her beef stroganoff and steamed carrots, read her glances to know when she's ready for another spoonful, her mouth turning towards the spoon, the way a newborn turns to suckle when its cheek gets stroked, her tongue hungry for another taste of life's small pleasures, the salty meat, the butter glazing the carrots, all three of our mouths opening in agreement. Thank you. You know, you do that when you feed a baby, it's a, oh, yeah, we're all there. Anyway, we've got one more tonight, and we're really glad to have Rachel Rose here. Come on up, Rachel. Do you need any time to get set up tonight? Are you 5 minutes? 2 minutes? It's 2 minutes. All right. 2-minute break while she gets set up here. She's got a multimedia presentation again. Legs getting tired. Yeah.
Possibly banned tonight. All right.
You ready? Okay. All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and happy solstice. So glad I could be here, me and Raven. I guess we're Raven, Fox, and the Wizard now. And that's okay. The Wizard was under the weather today. But he sent me with some music to keep me inspired, and we wrote a whole lot of shit by the fire. So today, I'm picking up the pieces of my shattered dreams, betrayal, trust. Who's that? Who will be next? Do I bare my soul? Do I watch love take its toll? Do I run and hide, suck up those fears and swallow my pride? Don't know if you can hear them. But we need to believe. My belief is that it's real. The time ticks by, but I am lost in a dream without time, fighting my demons. Then my place, they will find me, picking up the pool of my misery with the decisions, making them all by myself. I wait for your dawn, and with life slipping away, I close my eyes and I see your face. And I watch you leave without a trace. Another goddamn emo song. Your light floods my eyes. Like another one gone. But you build me up and you scream and you dream. And why did you die? The evil wizard in your dollhouse, extinguishing my dreams and just burning me out. So, dear Dale, from above, since you left on your journey, I've had plenty to think about. Like, are the children safe in this space and time right here in this place? I fell asleep when I got here, you know. We brought Maynard, but he didn't like the island. You don't know what it means, even if you only see it in your dreams. Just a little we thought. Been fasting for days and just on the pot. Turns out that it can quicken more than I thought. The mind, the medicine, the move, the garden, covered in grass. Test the soil and water and boil. But if you leave the grass, just in case, it becomes the same everywhere you look. All around, I love. You bright for my own, like a family reunion. Taylor and Ryan, they came home. All right, I got a couple. We've been writing all week, so. So here with turtle power, I will speak. I have learned from the turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. Well, no shift moves slow enough. Everyone else would just die at this pace. Whine, cry, piss and moan. Sounds like a song if you do it real slow. Slow, focus, meticulous, grand masterpiece. Create in the sound, in the space. Make it yours. Occupy. The surfing turtle is a symbol of patience and wisdom and ability to wait. For the perfect wave, earth, air, pebble and sand. Time is now to change this land. Hello, Port Alberni. It is I, Rachel Rose, your friendly neighborhood art hooligan. And yes, my spidey senses are tingling again. Here in this evening, in this sacred space, let my freak flag fly. Can you feel the vibration? Peeking by, earthly revelations, unreal manifestations, just exploding creations. I stand here in my punk rock uniform. No aviators tonight, but usually I see them so I can see beyond all form. Confess my pirate, Converse are my pirate moccasins, but it's too cold to wear them today. So Doc Martens are what I'm rolling with. Every day I try to live up to my own ego, fight for my dignity, a thief, a liar, no. This is my punk rock rebellion, the lover of the earth. Yes, moss, mushrooms, medicine all around us. Like a shamanic priestess of love. A water nymph. Strange days indeed. Love brought us all to this space and time. And thank you for hearing me. I feel like a wild child on a ship. In a ship of sleeping fools. Most days of the week I must turn the other cheek. The food is full of toxins, and our souls are clouded as the plastic bottles that we drink from. You must offer clean food and water. The forest, can you feel it? It's within your heart for you to heal. And the signs are all around us. Messages, the flags are here. I hear so many voices. It's not what you think, it's what you know. And I've had a great awakening. Would it help to travel around the universe? In the last 80 days, the greatest charge is upon us to heal the souls with art and music and love. A revitalization, lightening every day. So much unlocking, not enough words to say. So the love pirates have crashed upon our shores, all ships carrying open doors. All sisters, all brothers will guide our way to the light. Synchronizing everywhere to open your eyes. Just a bit wider if you dare. Pain brings productivity. This is all the offers I have to share. Or borrow a thought, a stolen identity, or harmony, or just honor history. Genealogy has no business in the creative process. The light and the honors. It's the light that honors the spirit in you. The mission is love's, and I have much more work to do. Art is my medium for you to view the waters, life, and I know soon I'll be strong enough and back to surfing and back to playing in the storm to become the master of my reality. Thank you for sharing your heart and soul with me in this storm.
And thank you for sharing your soul and your heart, Rachel. That was lovely. Thank you. It's beautiful thing that you can stand up there and be vulnerable and, you know, open your heart to us. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's beautiful.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of Electric Mermaid for 2022. Hard to believe the year has flown by. But I must say, I, for one, have many precious memories from the time we've had together here on whether it's on the Zoom or in person or the combo that we do of late. It's been wonderful. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, want to hope that you guys out there all have a wonderful holiday with your favorite people, hopefully. And that we can see you all back again in 2023. And we're going to start off with Jennifer on the 25th is going to be our feature reader. So she's going to read from her new book, and we're really, really stoked about that. And she's also going to let us know on Facebook. We just posted on the Electric Mermaid site or whatever when it comes out. So we can all get a preview on it for sure. So big shout out and big thanks to Charlene, as always, for being our hostess and taking care of us so well in the flesh and in the ether. And big shout out to Karl for being our moderator and keeping everything on track. So glad we could work it out so he could be with us in this December edition. Big shout out to Luma in the rafters from shining down on us for once more for another session of the Electric Mermaid. God bless to all, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2023.
And thank you to Derek for being our MC.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for all for reading and for listening. For those who are just listening, Sahara, if you can hear me, thank you for tuning in from Montreal. That was great. Be well, everyone. Bye-bye. It's relation. It's my wife's cousin, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. She was she on for a while? No, okay. Yeah.
That was lovely, Derek.
Oh, there you are, Sahara. Hey.
Hey, it was amazing to hear everybody's stories.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I didn't notice when you tuned in. How long have you been on?
I've been on about a couple hours, but I missed the beginning.
Okay. All good. All
Yeah,
good.
it was lovely. Thanks for letting me
I hear
listen.
Derek, so that's the main thing.
Super. Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to hear the tribute to Morgie at least, eh?
Well, you made me cry, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, Morgie was a big part of your life growing up, wasn't she? I mean, she spent a lot of time with you. Yeah.
She was my mama number 2.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. You're part of our family, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, happy to be a part of it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to stay in Montreal for Christmas?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do a Zoom chat on Christmas Day at the very least, eh?
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna come back to BC in February, and I hope to see you guys then.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Well,
This was really cool. If you guys do this again on Zoom, I'd love to listen. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just really fun to listen to everybody's stories. Everybody was so vulnerable, and
yeah.
it was beautiful.
Yeah, well, every month it's usually the last Wednesday of the month. So I can send you a Zoom link ahead of time, give you a little nudge. But yeah, it'd be great to have you join us and bring something to read, or you can even do a little musical performance. I mean, last month we had a couple of musicians come on and play some tunes. So we'd love to hear a little cello if you're feeling up to it sometime.
That would be lovely. It would probably sound like crap over Zoom though, but
Yeah, well, I don't think anything you play would ever sound like crap, but the quality of the sound could be tampered
It sounds
with.
much.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really good in person, but it also sounds really good on Zoom.
Yeah.
The instruments are amazing on Zoom.
Yeah.
yeah, if you can avoid too much distortion. Ideally, it would be fun to come to one of these things in person and meet everybody. If
Yeah.
I'm ever in Port Alberni at the right time.
Yeah, well, if you hit us in the last week of February, you can come down and join us here. Yeah, that'd be super.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Jocelyn for telling me about it, and
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a good Christmas, even though
Yeah.
Morgie won't be there that day, eh?
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, Sahara. We'll chat again soon, eh?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks much.
Bye.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I missed it. That's exactly
She is a phenomenal cellist. So she's auditioning for symphonies all over the world right now, trying to get into one because she's so good.
Yeah.
She's got her master's in music from McGill. Yeah.